You know what time it is. That's right. Let's go. It is Wednesday, October 19th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my friend? You got a lot of energy today, man. What's going on?
You baby.
Looking good over there, man.
Yeah. Feeling good, looking good. That's all you can do.
All right, man.
You know?
I'm excited, man. Basketball season is here. Excited to see the Pistons. We'll get a chance to talk about them. I wore my Pistons original track jacket. Spread some luck, some good luck to the Pistons. But excited to have Sean Murphy on a little bit later to talk about the Pistons from Woodward Pistons and see what they can do today, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Sean Murphy going to join us. Woodward Pistons, as Braylon said, coming up in the 3 o'clock hour. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you.
What up, fellas? I'll be there tonight. Love opening nights here in Detroit. Can't miss them. I'll be there. Looking forward to it.
You're going to go to the game tonight, huh?
Of course. How do you not?
How do you not?
How do you not?
Sorry, I'm having some issues with my headphones. I just want there.
You don't need them.
Yeah. Got it. Now it's working.
There we go.
Look at that. How about that, gang? So we're really excited to talk about all these kind of things. I do have some news, and it is interesting. We've talked about this Michigan State game, this night game that's happened, and made a big deal of the fact that I hated the night game, and one of the reasons why I hated the night game is because I wanted to go to the game, and I'm not going to go to the game. You are going to go to the game.
Going to the game, one of the former trainers that was on the staff my first 2 years in Michigan, played with golf with him at DGC for the Mark Wahlberg outing, and he offered me 2 sweet tickets, so I couldn't turn those up. But now I'm looking at the 7:30 start, and I'm like, what do I do until 7:30? I have to find things to do. And with everybody having tailgates, everybody having parties, everybody's going to try to want to get a hold of us, say, hey, come to this, come over here, we'll come to this parking lot, come to this backyard, and that's just a lot, man. I'm planning on staying home till around maybe 2, slab to Ann Arbor, maybe kick it to a friend's house that's up in Ann Arbor, and kill time until about 6:30, and then maybe deal with the madness.
See, and that's part of it. And by the way, it is going to be a blowout in Ann Arbor for the game against the Michigan State Spartans next Saturday. The blowout, 10:29. The stadium will be painted blue, and of course, Michigan will wear their blue uniforms. But Braylon, you just described why I hate college football games at night, and that is because you're going to leave at 2. So you can't get there for you can't watch any of the noon session games, maybe a little bit, but you're not going to finish a whole game. Then you're going to be driving and finding your spot and getting to a tailgate around whatever. So you're missing the 3:30, 4 o'clock slot games. I mean, it is literally just that one game that you're going to be a part of, unless you go to a tailgate with some TVs, which there are a lot of them around. But so that's another reason. I will say I got a text message from my buddy.
I am leaving at halftime. I'm warning you. I'm not staying the whole game. I'm not dealing with trouble with the snap and that long. It took me forever to get home with trouble with the snap, so that's not going to happen in 2 weeks.
Again, there you go. Leave it at half.
Yeah.
So one of my really good friends, a fraternity brother of mine, shout out to Scott Ryan. He is the chief trauma surgeon there, believe it or not, at Tufts University in Boston. And he comes to one game a year. He was going to come in this year. He stays at my house. He's going to come to the Michigan State game. We planned this whole weekend around going to the Michigan State game. Got a text message from him today at 12:31 p.m. Brother, would you be upset with me if I postponed my trip? I'm just really not excited about the night game, and coming from all that way, I really want to get the whole experience. The downside, obviously, is not being able to hang, but the logistics are just too much to overcome. And I'm wondering, I make a big deal out of the night game.
Yeah.
He's not coming in town. He's got the plane ticket already, so he's going to put that on hold or try to transfer it or whatever he's going to do, get the credit for it. How many people that actually affects?
But wouldn't that, on the opposite side, wouldn't that be more exciting if you're coming in from Boston, you're probably on a night flight after work, probably going to get in sometime in order to maybe catch a bite to eat with you and a couple of the fellas. Y'all grab something to eat, have some drinks, catch up a little bit. Then you got time to sleep in a little bit on Saturday in case you guys tie a couple off at dinner, whatever restaurant you choose to go to. And then you get a chance to maybe relive a little bit of college. By the game being so late, you can walk around campus, go to the old frat house, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe go to the Brown Jug, go to a couple extra tailgates, if you will. Then go inside the game, man. Leave at halftime.
I think that's part of it. So the noon game
That's the experience.
Yeah, the noon game experience for me is this.
You go there at 9 in the morning and you go to the game and you hang out, maybe go out to eat in Ann Arbor after that. That's what he wants.
You wake up at 7. You have coffee and breakfast.
Yeah.
You're out the door at 8. You get to Ann Arbor at 9. You drink your face off from 9 till about 11:55. You get into the stadium. You watch the game. You got 4 hours to sober up. You come home at that point. You got second half of the 3:30 game, and then you got the night game. And we order Jets pizza with ranch. You drag that pizza through the ranch. You're eating all day and all night, watching some pizza. You got a fire in the fireplace, and that's your full college experience.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
I definitely didn't say which one was better. I simply said you could do the other one as well.
I like that, except the drinking and the ranch.
You've never dragged your pizza through a little
No,
ranch?
I'm not tipping pizza in ranch.
What do you mean?
What's
Braylon?
wrong with you?
I have
Are
nothing.
you and Maz on this?
Hell no. I'm a ranch guy on pizza, 100%, or pie, whatever it's called in New Jersey and New York. But it's good to me that way. I can do either.
Yeah.
I can go without, depending on where I'm having a slice from. But if I'm having a slice from certain places that aren't necessarily that world-renowned, it's nothing wrong with Little Ranch.
Well, yeah, that's fast food pizza anyway. Do whatever you want with it.
Jets Pizza is fast food pizza?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm taken aback by this.
Any brand pizza is fast food pizza, unless you go to a pizza joint.
What's your pizza joint, your favorite pizza joint?
In Michigan?
In Brooklyn.
Well, Benny Tadino's in Hoboken. Or Roma in North Bergen.
Of course I have.
Or Roma in North Bergen. Sal's in West New York.
Hey,
what are you
Sal.
kidding?
Spent a lot of time out there.
Sal.
Good
If
old Hoboken.
you want to get any other kind of pizza from, the chains, that's what I meant, then do what you want.
Oh, my God.
Dip it, whatever.
It's
Hoboken was a
fine.
good drive in terms of coming from Florham Park, not wanting to go to the city, but not wanting to fully go into the city, knowing what that would lead to, knowing you had practice in the morning. Going to Hoboken was about your best bet. You could see New York from across the water. You get some good pizza, get a little bit of bar life, and then you take 25 minutes and get back home.
That's
Hoboken
what's
was
up.
good for that.
You know what
That's
time
what time it is.
Guys, we're going to have Lomas Brown coming up in just a little bit, probably in about 5 minutes from now. Lions with a game this Sunday. After a week off where I think most of us saved ourselves a little bit of heartache from them playing. But the Lions, of course, on the road at Dallas. The Cowboys, a 7-point favorite. And Dak Prescott will, in fact, be back. He'll start at quarterback, Braylon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. As much as I talked about Detroit Lions are going to lose this game because Dallas is a better team, which I still stick with. I mean, there is some hope for the Detroit Lions. You look at how Russell Westbrook, speaking of Russell Westbrook, we'll get into that. But you see how Russell Wilson came back from the same similar type injury last year. Wasn't that good when he first came back to the Seahawks. So that is the silver lining for the Detroit Lions. Plus, they'll get some guys back going into this week. So, I mean, you just never know. You want to see. The offense of the Dallas Cowboys has been really good in terms of playing to their defense, with the exception of last game against Philly. And even Philly, they had a chance. So inserting Dak back, you want to see, is he going to do too much? Is he going to do too little? This is a great time to catch Dak and the Cowboys for the Lions, especially them coming off a bye week.
And that's just it. We always say, I almost feel like I say it every day, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. And you might just be okay. And we'll see, right? I mean, Dallas might blow them out. What do we know? What do I know? Dallas might just blow them out. Dak Prescott looks like $1 million and comes back 100%. But maybe it does take him time to get some timing issues going with Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb, because this is his first game in over a month as well. Maybe he's got some growing pains with his own team, understanding how to call the game with Kellen Moore, who's been calling the games for Cooper Rush for the last month and a half. Now insert Dak. We'll see how crisp he is in game one here for him.
It's so crazy as you play devil's advocate for the Detroit Lions and how they maybe have a chance to win. You talk about them coming off a bye week. You talk about Dak coming back, his thumb maybe not being 100%. Talk about some struggles that they've had on offense. But the thing about it is, you go on the other side, the Detroit Lions can make any quarterback look like the best quarterback in the NFL. They can make any offense look like the perennial offense in the NFL. So what you're asking Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn, what they're asking that defense, just give us a little help Like, give us some help. Play stop. Get us a couple stops on third down. Make them go 3 and out 1 or 2 times so that you can give yourself some field position and you can allow Ben Johnson and the offense to really work, especially getting guys back. So that's what you're hoping for. But one thing that Lions defense is historically bad this year. And I don't use historically for effect. If you look it up right now, they're on historic pace.
Let me play Dan Campbell for you. This is him earlier today talking about just getting back to work.
They understand the hard times, and what we have to do to get through them and stay the course, go back to work. And, there again, I kind of said it last week, but, man, we got to be better today than Dallas is today. I mean, and that's really where it starts. Everything, the urgency, the focus, the intensity, that's where we have to really win is during the week, and so that's why I mentioned we're going to get back to some of the things that we were doing in camp and because those things have been good for them.
Yeah, they have been good for him, and you got to get a little bit of confidence back. How do you get some confidence back? You win, and without winning, there is no confidence. I don't care what you're doing. So we will have to wait until Sunday to find out, but right now the Detroit Lions are a desperate team.
Can I say something? I don't have to wait to get to the break to say this one. I don't even have to ask Lomas Brown this. Every team goes into the week trying to win Wednesday, trying to win Thursday. There are a ton of teams. You know how many bad teams I played for where we won the week, where we had a damn good week of practice? They don't need to win the week of practice. They don't need to win Thursday. They don't need to win Friday. They need to win on Sunday.
And they've got to start with a game against the Cowboys this Sunday. Again, the Cowboys are a 7-point favorite. We're going to talk to Lomas Brown, Lions radio analyst, one of the great Lions of all time. We'll talk to him next. But first, a message from Swiss Insurance.
Swiss Insurance Group, my man Mark, did you know that 1 in 6 kids will develop a medical condition that makes them uninsurable? It's a damn shame. Swiss Insurance can save you money on your auto and home, resulting in no out-of-pocket costs to insure your children. Check with Mark at Swiss, because guess what? Family protection is what comes first.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1, what's your why? More epic energy, better sleep, blow off steam? Step 2, join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3, bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey, gang. Yep, yeah, we go. There you go, everybody. We got the front row, Woodward front row promotion right now. Who wants to win front row tickets to see Green Bay and Detroit at Ford Field? I know you do.
Packers fans, get in on this.
All you got to do is record a video doing your best Dan Campbell impersonation. Post it on Instagram or Twitter with the hashtag Woodward Front Row. Make sure you're following Woodward Sports first and foremost. And we've gotten a lot of great entries so far. You got to get in. We will select 3 winners. They're going to get 2 tickets apiece for the Green Bay and Detroit game at Ford Field. We'll pick the winner on 11/4. That's November the 4th. So enter now, man.
All right, welcome back, WoodwardSports.com. Everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat, we certainly appreciate you making us part of your day. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Let's bring in Lomas Brown, one of the great Lions of all time, currently Lions radio analyst. We appreciate his time as we pick his brain on how we can get a Lions win. My goodness, Lomas.
Hello.
We are so desperate for a win, Lomas.
What's up, Lo?
I know, fellas. How y'all doing? Y'all good today? Y'all hear the big fella? I'm coming through loud.
Oh, yeah,
You're
looking good, Lo.
Perfection.
I'm doing okay because I didn't play for Detroit Lions. I played for Michigan, so I'm doing okay right now. I'm doing all right right now. I'm doing all right.
Hey, Lomas, what's this week like? What's this week like for the players and the coaches? I mean, you're basically trying to save your season this week.
Yeah, man. Think about it. These guys have been marinating over that loss that they took in New England. Braylon knows it's a long week, especially when you come off the loss and then you go into your open week. just nothing's right. Nothing. Your food doesn't taste right. Your wife doesn't talk to you right. The kid's not right. It's just nothing's right with the Lions right now, especially going through this losing streak that they're going through. So, to me, what I think they need to do, I think they need to revisit the playbook on the defensive side of the ball and maybe take some plays out and take some schemes out and maybe shorten this thing up and just do what you do best. Just work on that because, like I say, I just think these guys are hesitant out on the field on the defensive side of the ball, and they're definitely not finishing games. So they're going to have to finish it away, find a way where these guys are able to finish a game.
Hey, long time know my big brother, Big Lom over there.
Yeah.
Always good to see you.
Yeah.
Always good to have you on the show. Let's talk about it. Last year, we talked about it yesterday. You look at where Matt Patricia was at this point. Matt Patricia was 8-13-1. Dan Campbell is 4-17-1. How many more games will it take the Lions to lose for us to start having that age-old conversation about Lions coaching? And how many games is fair?
Well, to be honest with you, Braylon, I know some people are having the conversation now of whether they think Dan Campbell is the right person and they got the right coaching staff. I'll say this. I just look at how these guys have responded to Dan, how they've been playing harder than they played under Patricia. But like you say, the results aren't there. They just not there right now. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be completely honest. I think the forwards, they're the ones that are going to fall on the sword this year. I just think even if, say, the Lions win 2 games this year, I still think all of them will be back next year. I just don't see any changes. I think the Lions, the organization, know under Patricia, they let a lot of talent go. They did some things that they probably shouldn't have done while Patricia was here that kind of put them in the situation where they are right now. So I think Dan and them at least, like I say, whether they win 1 or 2 games this year, well, we already won 1. But if they win another game this year, I think him and that coaching staff will be back next year.
Hey, Lomas, it's funny because the Lions don't play last week, so we here in Detroit were forced to watch the Jets and the Giants.
Jets,
2 teams
baby.
that are also in the top 5 of last year's NFL draft.
Don't know about them Giants.
And what we're seeing is now a 5-1 Giants team that beats Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. You see a Jets team now 4-2 under a second-year head coach. Sure, they had 5 first-round picks in the last 2 years, whatever the case may be. But you see how quickly you can turn it around in the NFL, and we are not doing that here. I guess I would ask you why, no matter who the GM is, no matter who the coach is, the results seem to always be the same.
Yeah, it does seem that way. You're right about that, Ryan. There's really no explanation for that because it shouldn't be that way. We've had talented guys that come through those doors. We've had talented coaches that have come through those doors too. And we still seem to get the same results, which is what we don't want around here. I just think, for me, I think you have to start looking at the personnel that's being brought in. And maybe you start looking at your scouting personnel. Maybe you start looking at your player personnel. Maybe you start looking at those guys because think about it. Levi Onwuzurike lost for the season. Think about all the players that we've had that we brought here that have been injured that haven't done anything for us. You go back to Charles Rogers, the late great Charles Rogers. It's just so many guys. Javin Best. Think about all Ernie Sims. Think about all the guys we drafted that had some type of injuries to them, and they lasted 1 or 2 years. So to me, you got to start looking at the people that are bringing you the talent for you to evaluate and pick from. And to me, that's scouting, that's player personnel, those guys like that.
Hey, Lomas, I don't know if you can see the video or not, but I want to put up for you because we just talked about this yesterday, and it's all the failed second-round picks. I mean, look, I don't want to write the book on Pascal, but he's not performing right now. Onzarique's out. DeAndre Swift's going to miss another game, so it's probably 29 of 40 games that he's played. Tavai, Johnson, Tabor. I mean, the list goes on. That's just the second-round picks. Just think about that. At any GM, at any point, those are your guys. You can't win like that, number one. But the question I have for you is this. Aiden Hutchinson, you mentioned talent and scouting departments. I'm not writing off a guy after 5 games, but when you see what number 5 is doing in New York right now, Kayvon Thibodeau, I mean, he looks like a wrecking ball.
Yeah, man. I just, a couple of things I think is hurting Aiden. One, hard knocks, man. I'm telling you, it was a good thing for the Lions, but I think in a way it was a bad thing for the Lions because it put a target on their back. I mean, anytime you get, and Braylon, you know this, hell, you think about it. I played 18 years and never made the type of money Hutchinson got for his signing bonus, man. So, you got guys out there, you got veteran players out there. They don't want to hear about no rookie getting $23 million to sign. So that they're going to be trying to prove a point against him. So, I did say coming into this season,
No.
He'll be back. There you go. He'll be back.
Yeah, I think he's back now.
Yeah, I knew he would struggle because of him being a rookie and everything. So I knew he would have his ups and downs this season. I just didn't think he would struggle this bad, to be honest with you. So hopefully Aiden will be able to look himself in the mirror, and hopefully he'll be able to improve his game. But right now, man, it's not looking good for nobody on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And one thing I asked Ryan Ermanni before the season, I said, with all this pressure being put on the Lions, whether it's hard knock, whether it's the draft, whether it's getting the draft in 2 years from now, everybody's starting to focus on it. Everybody on ESPN, oh, watch out for the Lions. Here come the Lions. I said, are the Lions ready for this type of national exposure? Are the Lions ready to be a primetime team? And it doesn't seem like they're not. It doesn't seem like they are. I just hope that Aiden's healthy. Because it seems like after that first half against the Washington Commanders, seemed like he got injured and he hasn't been the same. He's kind of been hobbling on one leg, and it doesn't seem like he's the same. Here's a follow-up question to my first question. What does Aaron Glenn do on defense? How do you get those guys going in the right direction? Because there's a lot of pundits said early in the year, if they were a bad defense, they would have won a couple of those games or etched out that Minnesota game. But they're not even a bad defense. They're historically bad. How does Aaron Glenn get his guys back on the right track?
Well, the one thing, Braylon, like I said, them going to this wide 9 technique, I didn't really like that. I didn't, because that puts so much pressure on your linebacker to fill those gaps. So when you got that defensive end out in the 9, which is way out wide, I mean, it's an automatic gap that's been created. So again, your linebackers have to make sure they fill those gaps. So I think that's putting a lot of strain on the defense. But I'll just go back to what I said a little earlier. I think he needs to go back to his playbook, take out what the Lions do best. Whatever that is on the defensive side of the ball, whatever they do best, pull that out and just practice that and get excellent at that. I think if you got too many things, too many schemes, too many things that you have in the pot, then it gets, it gets watered down, and you're not able to concentrate or be as good as you are with that certain thing. So to me, cut it down some, go back to your basics, and try to get good at that. That's the only thing I can think of, because I don't think it's no magic scheme. I don't think it's just one player that you can plug in and he's going to make a difference. I think it's a philosophy that they're going to have to change. And I think they're going to have to do it sooner than later.
Hey, Lomas, thanks for coming on with us. Future Hall of Famer, Lomas Brown. Of course, the Lions radio analyst, played here for a long time, got a Super Bowl as well. I wanted to ask you about that Patriots game and how they Bill Belichick completely pulled the rug out. And now, did he show the rest of this league how to, A, stop this offense, because he shut out the number one offense in the NFL, made them look bad, and B, how is he taking players that failed here and are starting on his defense. And I'll just bring up just Jelani Tavai. And, we all know about Kyle Van Noy, but Jelani Tavai's playing 60 plays a game for the New England Patriots. I don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I think sometimes we try to fit a square peg in a round hole. And you can't do that. What Coach Belichick does, he takes guys that fit his system, guys that he could put in a certain spot, and they're going to do this. Like you saying, like Jelani Tavai, he's a downhill player, so he's always going downhill. That's the type of defense that they run over there in New England. So he's putting the right pieces into place for that defense. I don't know if we do that. I don't know if we think that far ahead and we do that here with our guys. I know we try to go for the best talent and the best players, and then I think what we do is just put them into the system hoping that they'll be as good as they were in another system, and it just hadn't worked here for us. And of course, man, I call Coach Belichick the blueprint, because this dude here, man, he shows the whole league how you can stop somebody, how you score against somebody. The dude, like you say, he's so awesome, man. I didn't expect us to get shut out against them. I didn't expect us to put up a lot of points, but I sure didn't expect us to get shut out. And Coach Belichick just showed why he's a genius, why he's the GOAT at coaching.
Lomas, last one for me. They play the Cowboys this week in Dallas. That's a tough game to come back from. Dak Prescott probably going to play in this game. Probably it's going to have a little rust on it, but they've been running the ball pretty well lately. What are their chances against Dallas? What do you want out of this Lions team against Dallas?
So what I need from this Lions team, I need to see our Lions dominate a game. And I haven't seen that yet. I mean, it's been close with one game with our offensive line. I guess that was against Washington. They had a great game. But I need to see our line of scrimmages dominate. So I'm talking offensive and defensive linemen. They got to take control of these games, man. Because if you don't win up front, man, it's going to be hard to win anywhere else on that field. So I need to see more activity out of our defensive linemen, whether we run more stunts. We got to do whether we change our technique up. We got to do something to get off blocks and make tackles. And from our offensive line, I got to see them just continue or try to be dominant. We counted on them being a dominant group this year. And I know injuries have played a factor, but we need them to dominate games. So I need for the big fellas on both sides of the ball, I need for them to start dominating for us to get this thing turned around.
Talking to future Hall of Famer Lomas Brown, huge if you will, a huge if you will. Is everybody throughout a ton of drafting scenarios going into this season? Because, I mean, we had a ton of times like, do we take this guy or do we take this guy in the first, maybe in the second? One I threw out, which was iffy, I said, do we take a running back in the second round? Do you look at a guy like Breece Hall if he's there in the second round? Do you look at a guy like K9 if he's there in the second round? Because I love DeAndre Swift when he's healthy. And the key word is when he's healthy. And like you look at what K9 is doing out there in Seattle right now. You look what Breece Hall is doing. Like, is it time for us to get another running back to ensure the future in that backfield?
If they're not going to use Justin Jefferson, if they're not going to use some of the other backs over there, Craig Reynolds, if they're not going to use them more, you're right, Braylon, you're right. You have to bring in someone. Because you're right, with DeAndre, you just don't know his health. You really don't. And you know the type of running back that Jamal is. He's a tough running back. He don't have no shake and bake. He's going to try to run you over and everything and get those tough yardage. Yeah. But I agree with you, man. I can't disagree with you on that. I think they do have to look at bringing somebody else in. Somebody else explosive that can do some of the things that DeAndre does. Because like I say, man, his ability to be out on the field has been kind of shaky over his first couple of years in the league.
The great Lomas Brown. 100%. We can't wait to talk to you again down the road. We certainly appreciate you doing this with us, Lomas. Always. We do not take it for granted that you always agree to do this, and we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir.
Hey, no problem, fellas. Y'all take care and have a wonderful show.
Thanks, Lo.
He over there looking like Stan Edwards' little brother. Like younger brother. Like big Stan younger brother.
Thanks. Lomas Brown, Lions radio analyst, one of the great Lions of all times. Absolutely. Certainly appreciate it. Lions and Cowboys in Dallas this week. Braylon, I want to ask you something, and I want to relate it to your own.
A couple things he touched on.
He
that
did.
Was very interesting.
And I want to relate it to your own career as well, because you know what these guys are going through, and I'll highlight that. But first, a message from SMA.
The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about substance abuse and mental health. Their podcast, this is the S word, and S word stands for stigma, because they are destigmatizing mental health in terms of depression, in terms of anxiety, in terms of just giving you the conversation, in terms of letting you know that it is okay to not be okay, but giving you the place and the platform where you can go to get those answers. Go to thesportsma.com for all your questions and inquiries, because Sean Jordan and NFL Alumni Association of Detroit do an amazing job. Once again, that's thesportsma.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
67.
Hey everybody, only at Big Frog can you get yourself a free Woodward Sport t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Stop in today, tell them we sent you, and they will hook you up and print out one for you right on the spot. So come in today and check out Big Frog in Novi, or check them out online at bigfrog.com/Novi.
So the Lions are 1-4, heaven forbid 4-1.
Hold on.
Braylon, you started in 05, 2-5, in 06, 1-5. Not to bring up traumatic.
It's not PTSD. I got out of there. I got off that boat.
In 08, you started 0-3. How hard is it to go to work as a professional player when you know your season's over before it even began?
It's tough. You know,
do you know? Excuse me.
Yes.
And do you know as you're going through it that the season's over?
You know, because no matter, you know what you know. See, us is on the outside looking in. We listen to the press conferences of players and coaches and what they say. But when you're on the inside, you're listening to what coach is saying, and you're a player, and you're like, that's not what we're doing. You're like, we're not getting better this week. You're like, they're not changing the direction of the defense, because you're sitting there and you're watching what's going on in practice versus what's going on in Sports Center and your local media, your local news outlets. It's tough, because the reason why it's tough is because you put so much effort into the end of the first season, the end of the last season, which ends at the end of December. And then you're like, you know what, next year is different. You pick up a couple free agent moves. You draft some players that are going to help you change the franchise. When you're starting off that bad, you're picking high. So you're usually picking somewhere between, 1 to 11. So you think you're going to add some players that are going to help. You talk good. You feel good through OTAs. You feel good through mini camp. Then you get to training camp, and it's the same old thing. It's the best training camp we've ever had. Guys are looking good. This guy's taking the next step. You go through all that, and then you get the first game of the season, and you're like, nothing's changed. Here's game 2. Nothing's changed. Here's game 3. Nothing has changed. And when you're in organizations like the Cleveland Browns or the Detroit Lions, when it's consistently that way for over a span of time, you're just like, I just can't wait to get to the offseason yet again and yet again. And then guys start buying out earlier and earlier and earlier. Guys are now booking their travel for the offseason. The last game of the season, they're already making those plans in October. They're making those plans in early November. Sometimes you play on a franchise like the Lions and the Browns, where they're making them at the end of September, and it's an awful place. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to have to look at your teammates. You don't want to have to hear the same old spill from the coaches that aren't getting it done. It's a tough atmosphere to be in, and that's why you see a lot of guys want out.
I thought Lomas was really, really candid today. Not that he's not every day, but I thought he was really candid today.
He said 2 wins maybe, and they're still coming back.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the reality of it, right? I mean, but they do need to take a good, hard look in the mirror at every facet of their organization, especially if they don't come up with some wins, because these players might play for and like Dan Campbell now. You string a couple of more L's together on that schedule, and you could see that belief, you could see that you could see that want to start to chip away with every L that they go through, because I'm telling you, this is a results-oriented business, and if you are not getting results, you are not getting the love, and you are not getting the buy-in.
2 things. One, I asked you, it's like I just asked Lomas Brown again. I asked you guys, I said, we talked about the Lions. You talk about the Lions in the draft with Aiden Hutchinson. You talk about the Lions with other things going on. You talk about the Hard Knocks. You talk about being on prime time. You talk about this team is ready. And I asked you, I asked you guys, I said, are they really ready to be in prime time? I said, are they really ready for this, all that the media is putting on them, all the expectations of the fans, all the expectations of ESPN and Fox and Colin Cowherd and Dan Orlowski and Marcus Spears saying, watch out for these guys. What Stephen A. Smith, like, man, they're going to fight you. Are you really ready for that? And the answer was no. They're not ready for that, because on defense they can't win games, they can't get stops. So you look at it from an offensive standpoint, where the offense, Detroit Lions offense was really good. But then you look at them when they really needed plays, they couldn't make those plays. They're scoring points, but when they really needed to be, couldn't get first downs. When they really needed to be, dumb interceptions. When they really needed to be, fumbles and interceptions and miscommunications and jumping offside. That's bad football. Yeah, they're scoring a ton of points, but when they really needed it, they couldn't get those points. That's a mindset. That's something you control. And then on the opposite side, obviously, the defense is just giving up an abundance of points and first downs all season.
You said it yesterday, and we showed the Jets draft picks. We can't draft for them. But you know what? Let's go back. Go back 20 years. If you just used Mel Kiper's draft board, we'd be in better shape today than we are, because they always think they're the smartest guy in the room. Now we have Brad Holmes, and we've all doffed him as the greatest GM that's ever been here. And he does the same stuff.
He still might be, by the way. That's how bad it is.
But he's doing the same stuff. He's drafting these players, these injured players, that aren't getting on the field or are staying on the field for a year or two. You heard Lomas. You saw it on list. You see Jelani Tavai playing 60 plays for the Patriots. What the hell, man?
Round peg, square hole.
I don't care. Then use his defense.
That's what. But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Round peg, square hole. That's regardless of the general manager, regardless of the coach. It seems like they're making the same mistakes.
And again,
I'm not gonna write off Aiden Hutchinson after 5 weeks, but it clearly looks through 5 weeks that Kayvon Thibodeau is a better player.
Yeah, 100%. And I said this to Lomas, and I didn't think about this when we were talking about Aiden on Monday. I hope he's not. I hope he gets healthy. Let's say that, because he hasn't looked the same since that first.
You're right. You're right.
Against the Washington Commanders, he has looked injured. So it isn't fair if the guy is injured. But I don't want to hear the double team excuse, because everybody that's good, everybody that goes second overall, everybody that's preseason all pro, they get double teamed. But the other thing about it is, too, I'm looking at the Giants' picks right now, because we talk about the Detroit Lions are historically bad in the draft. I mean, whether it's Gerard Davis, whether it's, I'm looking at this draft, whether it's, Javid Best, Riley Reef, Ezekiel Isaac, Ebron, which everybody to this day.
Yeah, forget about the second round picks. You can't get the first round picks.
You can't get those right. But then I'm looking at the Giants, and I'm looking at, all right, they had Odell Beckham in 13. They had Eric Flowers. They had Eli Apple. Everybody knows is gone. Evan Ingram is gone. Saquon was on the fence for a minute. Nobody liked Daniel Jones, and even now they're having success, but they don't fully like Dexter. They've got a bunch of guys that don't work either. But
Kadarius Toney is not a good player.
Exactly. But your difference is, first-year coach and Dan Campbell, he brings in first-year coordinator, defensive coordinator, and Aaron Glenn. He brings in his guy, Anthony Lynn, who I know. Anthony Lynn's not a good offensive coordinator. He wasn't a good offensive coordinator with Buffalo. He wasn't a good offensive coordinator or coach with the Los Angeles Chargers as well. But you bring him in, then you replace him with Ben White, then you replace him with yourself. What Brian Daboll has done, one, he has years worth of experience, but he also went on the defensive side and said, you know what, I got to have a guy that can get that defense in shape. That defense doesn't have all the pieces, but there's something there. If I get a guy that knows what he's doing, i.e. not my buddy, i.e. somebody that people believe in, Wink Martin, everybody knows I can do something with that defense. That defense is literally in the top 6 in the NFL right now, and they're the number 1 defense in the fourth quarter. Like, that's what you do. You surround yourself with people that have a proven track record. I think that's the fail for Dan Campbell, is not surrounding his people with proven track records.
And the players. They don't draft the right players.
No doubt.
Go back to Penny. I'm sorry.
You're right. I mean, Penei Sewell could be a Hall of Famer, and it's still the wrong pick.
You could still get an offensive lineman in the 2nd and 3rd round.
I mean,
it don't have to be a gold jacket.
It is, but even if it's a gold jacket at right tackle, or if it's a gold jacket in the middle of your defense, what are you taking? What is the more impactful position? There's no doubt about it. You cannot tell me that Micah Parsons was not the pick. I mean, it just is. So he got that wrong too. But we can discuss that on the other side. Much more Lions talk. Also, there's some mock drafts out. Where do they have the Lions picking?
They are everywhere now.
I know. They're everywhere now after 6 weeks. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
That's right, the Folding Warehouse. You got to love it. Down in Hamtramck. 2 ways to play. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for $120. You get it for 2 hours, but you can put 10 or 12 people on a lane. They have multiple full bars and a great beer menu. Over 100 beers to offer, and the $2 mystery beer machine. Bring your own food in or have it delivered. It's the Folding Warehouse. Get your fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Got double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey everybody, what's going on? JB here to tell you about Planet Fitness and how they are the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym has always been clean, but now it is cleaner than ever. Ooh. With tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in a 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training. You get all of this for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yeah, you guys, only $10 a month. But also, don't forget, Woodward Sports will be broadcasting live from Planet Fitness on Ryan Road in Sterling Heights all day, Wednesday, October 26th, with the opportunity to win a few prizes. We've got Michigan versus Michigan State tickets. Comes with a free 1-year membership to the Black Card, a signed Darren McCarthy jersey, or just throw it up there. Braylon's down there somewhere. A signed Braylon Edwards jersey. Join in club today or check them out at planetfitness.com.
Guys, welcome in to WoodwardSports.com. Everybody in the WoodwardSports.com chat. I did see one of the comments here, and of course now I can't find it, but the moral of the chat subject, whatever it was, we all wanted Aiden Hutchinson. And yes, most of us wanted Aiden Hutchinson, not Braylon. He was calling for Kayvon Thibodeau, but most of us wanted Aiden Hutchinson. The problem is, most of us, all of us, are not NFL general managers. We think we are, and that's what makes the NFL draft so intriguing. We think we can all do a better job, but at the end of the day, these guys are the ones that are paid to do it. If I say take Aiden Hutchinson, I'm not losing my job. if you take Aiden Hutchinson or if you take, Terry Fair over Randy Moss, you're going to get fired. Yeah, if you take Mike Williams over DeMarcus Ware, you're going to get fired. It's just a way of the world.
Look, at the end of the day, Lomas brought up a good point. That's why they have a scouting department in all professional sports, whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, or football. And in the NFL, it's no different. They have a scouting department. They have a ton of guys that go on the road, and all they do is they scout. They scout college players that are coming out. They scout college players that are coming out within 2 years. They go and watch other teams play so they can see where there are guys that are at the end of their contracts, maybe have 2 years left with their unrestricted free agents. Their job is to scout all that talent and see how it fits on the system that you already have in place. That's where the Detroit Lions have failed once again. I'm glad Lomas brought it up. They have not picked the right guys. Whether you just look at the draft, how many times do we have to show the draft records? How many times do we have to give you the receipts of the first round, the second round, the third round, and so on for the Detroit Lions? That's where they are failing. Stop trying to keep these guys employed. Stop having these guys on there, because the one thing I've noticed, the places that I've been, Ryan Ermanni, is that when I was in Cleveland for 5 years, though the head coach changed twice, though the defensive coordinator, though the offensive coordinator, though all that changed, all that changeover, guess what didn't change? I still saw the same scouts around. Whether it was this big head dude named Scott that wore glasses, whether it was Paul Warfield, the Hall of Famer, shout out to Paul Warfield, whether it was a bunch of other guys that came in there and you only saw them around certain times,
like
there was the same guys. Yep. Exactly. Just like Moneyball Madsen, right? Just like Moneyball. Same dudes. Same guys. If they didn't know it in 1995, they're not going to know in 2005, and they're not going to know in 2015. You got to change those guys out. Just like you change out the regimes, change the scouting departments out too. Shake the whole effing thing up. Not just the coach and the GM.
Don't forget who the king scout is with the Lions. It's Brad Holmes. He's the guy. He's the guy that helped the Rams. He's the guy that came here and took the reins. So he has final say. And he talks to the coach. Listen, I want to do it this way. The coach can want to go another way, but Brad Holmes is making a choice. Let me throw this out at you. If Josh Paschal doesn't come back fully from this injury, that's another second-round pick. If he does come back and he plays well, maybe he makes Aiden Hutchinson look that much better. Because that's what they were drafted, 1 and 2. Never mind Jamison Williams. So those two were 1-2. They got to be the 1-2 punch for this thing to work. But is that the right way to do it, or do you just draft the best freaking player at that position instead of just thinking, well, if I get him there and I get him there, the two of them are going to be really good?
I think you draft the best player at that position. I think you do draft the best player.
Then it was Thibodeau.
It seems that way. It does. I said that, but at the end of the day, like you said, I wasn't a scout. I just kind of saw what I saw and did my homework. But the other thing about the Brad Holmes, final say comes through him. But it's just like a CEO of a company. CEO isn't responsible for all the ideas. CEO doesn't do all the legwork. CEO has the guys that work underneath him bring him the finished product, and then the CEO can look like the genius and say, okay, yeah, you know what, Kayvon Thibodeau, I like him better than that. He doesn't necessarily do all the work. So that's why I said he can help Brad Holmes by just presenting him better arguments on better individuals to draft. Now, just like you said, the verdict isn't out on Josh Paschal. That move can maybe pay out. Maybe he comes back. Maybe he's good and he compliments Aiden well. Just for right now, it just doesn't seem like this regime, though we want it so bad, though everybody is pulling for. It's just like Tyra Banks said on America's Top Model. We were pulling for you.
Yeah.
We wanted you.
We need it.
It's the same thing. Everybody loves Dan Cameron, rightfully so. He's an amazing individual, amazing motivator. But we're just now looking at all of the equation. And when we look at it, gentlemen, it just doesn't seem to look good right now.
So if Paschal fails, what do you do?
You fire another general manager and another head coach, and you try it again.
Because you're drafting in the top 3 again, maybe.
Well,
top 5.
Look,
are you taking your quarterback this year?
Can I leave you with a tease?
Are you taking your quarterback?
Because I want to get on time here.
Are we not talking about the position we should be talking about, which maybe isn't the head coach, which go a little higher? Maybe it isn't the GM. Just go a little bit higher. Who's the only person that's been the same in the last 20 years? We'll talk about that.
We'll do that next. Also, some mock drafts. Got to get them up for you. We'll do it. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Go to Michigan Avenue. Check them out there They have cars, Chevrolets, Cadillacs for you to lease and purchase. Get off your heels into some wheels. Come on down today. Practically giving them away. From Equinoxes to Escalades, they got them, baby. You just got to go check them out.
Check them out.
Also, any make, any model, they've got it on their lot. Pre-owned lot, over 300 vehicles on that lot. Are you kidding me? Some of them with less than 500 miles, so they're like new. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Find new road.
Find them.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey, everybody at Alta, time matters. You know it. Alta Equipment's got everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, Alta Rental is the place for you. They've got you covered. Call them today at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA.
First time I heard Tom Mazawey, I remember him doing the pregame and the postgame for Michigan football. I thought he had the greatest voice.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
I love doing that.
Yeah, that was. How long did you do that? What,
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah,
That's long. Yeah, and that's something.
That was great. Me with those guys.
Braylon, you teased somebody we've got to look at. What do you got?
Sheila Hamp. You know, I know she's no longer Sheila Hamp forward, trying to distance herself from her family, but at the end of the day, she's a forward. She started off with the forward. She still is a forward by blood. She's a part of this ownership that has been a mess for years on top of years on top of years. Lomas said it on the show. I mean, just a minute ago, he said, talk about, Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn, like they made the decisions to get rid of Quandre Diggs, to get rid of Darius Slay, and you see how well those individuals have played. That's part of it. You let go good players. You consistently draft bad players. Here's another good question. Okay, then I was listening to somewhere and they were asking if Robert Saleh was still on deck and Dan Campbell, who would you choose? And obviously the answer is Robert Saleh. I mean, just having seen what I've seen. But if he was offered this job, I don't think he would take it because New York's a bigger city. But then in retrospect to Dan Campbell having this job, how many people offered Dan Campbell the head coaching job of set franchise? How many people did the forwards interview? Like, how do you hire the guy? And this is no shot at Dan Campbell, but how do you hire the guy with
Sounds like it.
If it is a shot, if it's coming out that way, my apologies, but how do you hire the guy with least amount of experience? Like, nobody would have given Dan Campbell a job based off his measurables. And I know you say, well, there are a lot of first-time coaches, but those first-time coaches had coordinator experiences. They were experiences in good franchise, in good times, whether they were coming from Super Bowls, Super Bowl championships, Super Bowl appearances. Like, that's how you get jobs with a resume. He's got a resume, but it's the resume of a tight end. It's the tight ends coach. It's the resume of, he knows this guy, he knows that guy. But that doesn't say anything about his mind as a coach, his mind as an offensive coordinator, his mind as a defensive coordinator. Who would have hired, this is a real question, who would have hired Dan Campbell if not the Lions? Like, how do you interview all your interviewees and Dan Campbell's the guy that you say, hey, it's him, it's this guy? How?
Don't forget, we hired Rod Marinelli.
Yeah,
he was in the NFL for 73 years.
Defensive line coach, not even a coordinator.
But he was here for 73 years in the NFL.
I know.
And we're the only team to hire him. Him and his shovel and his
pick.
agree
with that, too. It's like, once again, out of everybody you interview, would Rod Marinelli got another job? No, because he hasn't got one since he left here. Why do we make those hires?
It is incredible. It is a total organizational failure.
What is the process?
It is a total organizational failure. And one of the things that Dave Burkett said when we had him on last week, was it last week or Monday? I don't remember. Monday? Last week. Was you could be sitting here, if this thing goes the way it's going, with the 5th straight year of having a top 10 pick, you have got to get your quarterback at some point.
Oh, no, why? Why do that?
Exactly.
Why?
But again, if you do bring everybody back, you know what they're going to have the pressure to do? Win.
Yeah.
Win now. Win next year.
They're going to take Okuda's brother.
What will help you win next year? A defensive lineman, a linebacker, or a quarterback? Probably not the latter. Not some rookie quarterback that you're going in with. So that's how you stay bad quickly. Let me put up some mock drafts. First, we'll go with the Pro Football Focus mock draft because, look, this is just the time of year that we're doing it now. 2023 mock draft has the Lions picking the quarterback from Stanford with the 9th pick.
That was a couple of weeks ago. Let's get the next one up.
Current
Let's get the Yahoo one up.
Okay.
We definitely should be 9.
So Yahoo has the Lions selecting 3rd, Bryce Young.
The Raiders at 2?
Raiders at 2, Will Anderson, and at 1, the Carolina Panthers select C.J. Stroud. But look at that. C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis going to Houston at 6. And, I guess that would be it. So 3 quarterbacks taken in the top 10
this is another,
of this draft.
We got another one from our own Anthony Colombo that we could pop up as well.
Here's Colombo's mock draft. He also has the Lions selecting Bryce Young 3rd overall. I don't know. I don't know about Bryce Young. But
what don't you know about Bryce Young? He won the Heisman Trophy last year. The drive.
Charlie Ward won the Heisman too.
But he didn't do it in the fashion in which
Tim Tebow won the Heisman.
But they don't do it in the fashion in which Bryce Young do it in. Bryce Young can do it from the pocket. Bryce Young can do it from outside the pocket. Bryce Young only runs if he has to. You look at that Auburn game last year. They were about to lose. He had to go 91 yards. Not only did he go 91 yards, he went 91 yards, scored a touchdown.
Who would you say his comp would be?
He beat George. You said in the NFL?
Yeah.
He's a mix between, because he's short as well. He's a mix between Kyler and Russell. He's the best parts of both of them. Because he's faster than Russell, not faster than Kyler. He can throw better than Russell. His arm is strong. His arm is more consistently strong than both of those guys put together. That's what I would say he is.
That's a pretty good comp.
Kyler's already hit the wall.
100%. But he's playing behind some guys. If you look at the game film on Bryce Young, he's a guy that gets it done. When they win, it's because of him every time. Before you look at quarterbacks at Alabama, you can look at A.J. McCarron and Greg McElroy and Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa to a certain extent. But they were winning because everybody on the outside is amazing. But when you see Bryce Young go out there and throw for 455 and almost beat a Tennessee team that's clearly better than Alabama, but they almost beat because Bryce Young had 455 in the national championship game. Georgia was better than Alabama, but once again, Alabama almost beat Georgia because of Bryce Young. So I think he is the number 1 quarterback in this draft. Even though Hendon Hooker's playing amazing, I think it's still Bryce Young.
I don't know if I take Hendon Hooker in this draft, and I'll tell you why. And I am the president of the Hendon Hooker fan club.
You definitely.
He's already 24.
That's the thing. He's going to be 25 his rookie year. You're essentially losing 4 or 5 years with a guy because of his age. I mean, does that affect you wanting to take someone? I think it does too.
It does to me.
I think it does too. I'd rather a 21-year-old Bryce Young than a 25-year-old
Hendon
Hooker.
But, with that being aside, yes, because I want Bryce Young anyway, but let's substitute the next 21-year-old quarterback or 20-year-old quarterback. Doesn't Hendon Hooker being 24, 25 at his first snap in the NFL, doesn't that help? Because a lot of the part of the issue is dealing with quarterbacks that have to do what? Mature. If this guy is 25 and already gets it by the time he takes his first snap, does that kind of eliminate some of that growing pains process?
Yeah, and look, Will Levis is the same way. Will Levis is 23. He's going to be 24 next year.
Is that the Kentucky kid?
Yeah.
He's built, man.
I know. But again, because of that COVID year and transfer portal, 2 of the top 3 or 4 quarterbacks in this NFL draft are guys that are older.
But it's the quarterback position. It's not the running back position. If you were telling me that the running back was 25, then I definitely would agree with you.
Sure, that's a good
That means
point.
he's gotten extra years of getting hit, extra years running back. That shelf life happens quick. But at the quarterback position, I think it is the one position that is not the one, but the most cerebral, the most level of maturity has to be in play for you to have the best success. I think that actually could be a help. Now, if you were sitting there telling me he was the same age as Chris Winkie, because Chris Winkie got drafted at 28, then I would be all aboard and I'd say, hell no.
You don't got to worry anyway. They're not going to take a quarterback. Don't worry about it.
Right.
They're going to take another injured
They
tight
don't
end.
need a quarterback. Hey, Maz, we're going to swap you out.
All right.
We're going to bring in Sean Murphy for a segment from our
Sean.
Woodward Pistons team. Pistons open up their season tonight at home against the Orlando Magic. Excited to talk a little Pistons basketball with one of the best, Sean Murphy of our Woodward Pistons team.
Yes,
but first,
sir.
a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Lady Jane's has an award-winning haircut experience for you. Register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win a down payment for your dream home, up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. There's a location near you. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row, this time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag #WoodwardFrontRow. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man!
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
OddsTrader.com is the number one site for your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price from every game from multiple sportsbooks. Simply put, OddsTrader.com is the best. When you go on the site, they give you the stats you need to hedge your bets. They give you the players to choose to hedge your bets. They give you all the little information, all the little nuances, so that you can make a little of that cash, that money, that moolah, that dollar. Make a little bit of that. In order to do so, go to OddsTrader.com.
All right, hour number 2 of the program. Thanks for making Woodward Sports part of your day. Check us out, woodwardsports.com. While you're there, hop on into the woodwardsports.com chat and the woodwardsports.com shop. Plenty of items there, over 120 items to choose from. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, we swapped out Tom Mazawey for our guy, Sean Murphy,
Yes,
part of the
sir.
Woodward Pistons team, on Twitter at Sean Halfcourt. You know basketball time is here with Sean Murphy in the house.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad to be here. It's so good to see two of my favorite people. And, of course, I love Maz, too. He's one of my guys as well. Always good to be here and talk hoops. Absolutely ready for Paulo versus Cade, the 2 last number 1 overall picks, facing off at the Little Caesars Arena tonight. High-quality basketball all season long, man. I'm excited.
Sean, it happens tonight, and so many people want to get a chance to look at this new-look Pistons team. What will we see? What are the early season expectations for this team? What are we looking for in the first month and a half of the season?
Yeah, for sure. The first thing that you're going to notice is talent across the board. You're going to see a level of athleticism that this Pistons roster just hasn't had in years. I mean, Jaden Ivey comes into the league day one as one of the fastest guards in the entire NBA. And so for him to, both accelerate and decelerate in the open court, he's going to have some highlight plays that Pistons fans haven't seen quite like on their team in some time. So I think, you're going to see a lot of excitement, but also you have a team that's really young. The average age of this roster is 24.9. So this is still a really young team that's going to make mistakes. Make no mistake about it. This is a team that's still looking to, find their way in the NBA. However, when we're talking about, what this season's about, it's about playing competitive basketball. It's about having meaningful games, meaningful minutes, opportunities for these young guys to learn what it's like to play games that mean something. I mean, it's one thing when you go to a season, know that it's a rebuilding year, that you're kind of focusing on the draft. It's another thing when you have genuine aspirations, when this team wants to be in the conversation for the play-in. And whether they make it or not, the fact that they're going to be in the conversation, that they're aiming to be in that conversation, it's a whole different thing. So, for the opportunity for this team to, have as much talent as they do, to have the leadership that they do, and then also, just the fact that, they're going into with all this hype and momentum, behind them.
Yeah.
I think it's just destined to be a great year for this team. I really do.
2 questions for you, Sean, my guy. Always good to see you. Just told you before we got on air, you're looking amazing right now. I can tell you're doing it right, man. I know you up there in Grand Rapids doing it the right way. You talked about the average age of this team is 24.9, or 21.9. Talk about how young they are. Talk about the addition of Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah, man. Bojan Bogdanovic is just a pro's pro. When you're talking about guys that can go out and get you 20 points a night, that's Bojan Bogdanovic. He's a career 18-point-a-game guy. He's able to go out and create his own offense. He can create as well for other guys around him. He's a guy, he's a forward with a guard skill set, and that's just one of the things about him that just makes him so special. But also, he's just a knockdown shooter. He's one of those guys that, alongside Sadiq Bey, can be a threat from beyond the arc. You're talking about one of Detroit's biggest struggles this past year. Yeah. It was guys, both who could shoot, but also just guys who could create their own buckets, right? Yeah. So, for him to be able to come in, steady 30-plus-year-old guy, be a veteran presence, has been there before, has been on teams that have played in playoff situations, but also, former Indiana Pacer, has played quite a bit in this Central Division as well. So I think, he came in day one. He knows that Cade's a franchise player. He's excited to contribute, but I think the big thing is he's just consistent.
Extremely excited to see Cade next to Jaden Ivey this year. Ryan Ermanni was high on Jaden Ivey the whole draft, and guess what?
I'd have picked him one.
I was just about to say. And we end up getting Jaden Ivey, so that's going to be good. We get Jalen Duren. We get him as well. Killian Hayes. Seems like we're back in on him. Seems like, he's turned the corner, and he's going to be somebody special this year. Sadiq Bey, extend him as well. But if I'm looking at the last 4 seasons, Sean Murphy, I'm just going to be the devil's advocate of their success, or their non-success, that is. Yeah. 23-59, 20-52, 20-46, 3 seasons that you're in your 20s. Tell me why I should believe that this season, even though they draft Jaden Ivey, even though the year before that was Cade Cunningham, even though you sneak Jalen Duren, tell me why I should, I'm going to buy in despite what I've seen the last 3 years.
Well, the big thing is, if you look at where the Pistons were 3 years ago versus where they were at now, the wealth of talent is just at a different level. Going into the 2020 season when Troy Weaver took over the Detroit Pistons, their top young assets were Sekou Naboya, Svi Mikhailuk, Luke Kennard, and Bruce Brown. Yeah. Now, you have Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren, Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Livers, Cade Cunningham. You have a wealth of young talent. In addition, you have a staff that's experienced with developing young players. You're going into year 3 for Sadiq Bey, who's been one of the rising stars in this league. You have Cade Cunningham, who's one of the most touted after #1 picks that we've had since LeBron James, leading, perhaps one of the best draft classes that we've seen since LeBron James. And I think the biggest thing as well is that this team, for the first time in a long time, has something that Pistons teams just haven't had, and that's an identity. And it's an identity that's rooted in the past success of what's made the Detroit Pistons great. It's built on defense first, on toughness, on togetherness, and it's also built on the identity of a great backcourt. You talk about Isaiah and Dumars, Hamilton and Billups. Cunningham and Ivy has the chance to be better than both of those backcourts, and Isaiah Thomas is one of the all-time great guards. So I know what it means to say that, but but Cunningham and Ivy, they can be special. And, all reports suggest, from day one, they're eating together, they're lifting together, they're shooting together, they already know what it means that they need to be together. So
you my guy. But you saying Isaiah and Joe D?
I know, man. I know, man. I know. But what these guys have?
One overall.
But where it goes, but
true.
But where it comes to a different level is like, Isaiah, he was an all-time great talent, but people doubted him from day one. He was too little, right? But with Cade, he's 6'6", 6'7", at 20 years old, has all these skills, has the mental maturity where he comes in and takes over a franchise day one. I mean, it's his second season. Bojan Bogdanovic came in, he was like, "Yep, he's the franchise player. I already know it. We already know it. It's already defined." Like the fact that it's like that understood, that like it's not even like we're not even having that question, and it's all because of how special Cade not only is on the court as a player, but off the court as a leader. That's just what makes Cade special.
Sean, complete this sentence for me. The Detroit Pistons blank compete for a playoff berth.
The Detroit Pistons will try to compete for a playoff.
About a year away, probably.
Yeah,
right? Probably a year away.
So if we're looking at it realistically, the Pistons still have about $20 million plus in dead salary this year with the Kemba Walker contract that they're about to be eating with him being waived on Monday. And then in addition, you just still have a really young roster. Also, starting the season out with the Marvin Bagley injury, it's a particularly difficult blow. It forces Jalen Duren, an 18-year-old, to kind of be forced into the limelight day one. However, looking at the roster that we have now, it's certainly more talented than what it was last year. I think you could certainly compete for a play-in berth, and even though if you make the play-in game, that technically doesn't count as making the playoffs, I think you can still see yourself in that position. But the thing about it is that the NBA, the thing that's crazy is that the Pistons are getting better and are getting at a point where they're ready to compete, but there's about 23 teams in the NBA right now that are all looking to compete and have some form of playoff aspirations. Like, this is the most competitive we've ever seen the NBA. So like you said, Ryan, like next season, we're going to have almost $80 million in cap space going into next offseason. So for the Pistons to have the opportunity to see what they have in house, see what you've developed within, see who could be here going forward, and make those decisions accordingly before you have that salary cap to spend next year, I think it's just an opportunity for the Pistons. There's nothing to lose. Go out and compete, play your heart out, see where you can end up by the end of the year, and you might end up with a great draft pick next year anyway.
Maybe a ping pong ball can go your way. And get that.
Well, I mean, the Pelicans, when they got Zion, they were just out of the playoffs.
Right.
Like they weren't like a bottom of the league team.
Right.
The way the lottery works now, you don't have to necessarily tank to end up there.
Speaking of the NBA now, let's talk about this. 2 quick questions for me, and I think I'm done with all your knowledge, man. It's too much. It's too much to process. It's too much to take on. No, tell me your West, tell me your East, and then tell me the storyline you're most intrigued to watch this year.
Yeah, man. So as far as if you're asking for my favorites for each conference, as for right now, as far as the Eastern Conference goes, I think the 2 teams to look out for. I mean, until anyone beats Giannis and the Bucks healthy, I can't see anyone taking them down. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the best player in the world. There was a story that just came out today from The Athletic talking about part of what makes Giannis great, and the report talked about how Giannis, just like Jordan would back in the day, would over-exaggerate encounters and use and create things on the court to have personal beefs and to make games that much more motivating for him. Like, that's just the type of guy we're dealing with. And also with a healthy Chris Middleton, I mean, that roster has just had continuity for years now. So for me, it's hard to see them getting uncrowned. As far as the Western Conference, for me, I still think the Golden State Warriors need to be seen as a favorite. One team to look out for, Braylon, I know the LA Clippers are a team that are catching a lot of people's eyes. The New Orleans Pelicans could possibly make it to the Western Conference Finals.
They were an inch away from this past offseason. That was without Zion.
People are talking about Zion for MIP this year. People need to be considering Zion for MVP, because that's the type of potential he has. With the shape that he's in, with the player that he can be on both ends of the court. He was out of shape and was over 60% from the field in 2020, 2021 with Stan Van Gundy as his coach. Now with Willie Green, with guys like Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado next to him, that's a dangerous squad. So I think overall the league is there's a wealth of talent. I think as of right now, though, I would say there's probably going to be a Bucks Warriors finals, and I think Giannis is going to take it.
I like that Pelicans conversation. The reason why I like it so much is people don't realize how much about ball Brandon Ingram is. Everybody talks about KD. KD, all he does is hoop. He wears hoop shoes to the nightclub. Like, all KD is doing is this all day long. Brandon Ingram is cut from the same cloth. So watch out for Brandon Ingram this year.
The great Sean Murphy, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Follow him on Twitter at Sean Halfcourt. Great Pistons coverage as part of our Woodward Pistons crew all season long. Sean, thanks so much. We certainly appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy the season. We'll have you back in here anytime you want to drop in.
Appreciate you guys. Section 104, come find us tonight.
The crew, Section 104, Woodward Pistons. There it is. You got it. Hey, coming up next, I want to get back to the NFL. Lots of things happening there, including Tom Brady. We'll go around the league. Tom Brady getting killed. Not literally, but figuratively. Tell you why.
Over a little figurative comment.
Coming up next, but first a message from Custom Health Centers. Has summer left you feeling a little bit chubby? Yeah, me too. Custom Health Centers takes the willpower out of weight loss. Whether you need to lose 20 or 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers will do it quickly and safely. Go to CustomHealthCenters.com, CustomHealthCenters.com, or give them a call today, right now. Call them right now. 844-789-THIN. That number again, 844-789-THIN.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Excited for Little Pistons basketball and excited for our Woodward Pistons coverage. Welcome in if you are watching on woodwardsports.com. However you're consuming Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate it. Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey back with us now. Ryan Ermanni. I want to get back into the NFL and do this story with you guys because Tom Brady is getting roasted not only on sports channels, but he's getting roasted
a year
on news channels. TMZ saying that Tom Brady said, it was on his podcast with Jim Gray. Tom Brady says he's finding it nearly impossible to focus on his personal life half the year, explaining that he feels like the NFL seasons are similar to, quote, going away on deployment for the military, end quote. Now, obviously, football is not going away on deployment to the military, but here's where it's a little.
Why do people got to be that way?
Well,
they know he don't mean it.
Like they know.
They know.
Like people know that he doesn't mean.
No.
Like literally, like going to war, right?
Give me a break.
I think I would hope to, and I put this out earlier today on my Twitter, responding to a CNN tweet. Tom Brady,
I liked your tweet.
Tom Brady has compared the slog of playing in the NFL season to going away on deployment in the military. And I just simply put, if you're a sports fan, you have used a war term or war terminology before. Bo versus Woody, the 10-year war. You say, oh, this is really going to be a battle at the big house. Man, Braylon Edwards is such a good teammate. I want that guy in my foxhole with me.
He's a warrior.
He's a warrior, Braylon Edwards.
Gladiator.
Is he?
Gladiator.
Soldiers.
Quarterback throwing missiles out there. Is he? Is that missile killing somebody that just wiped out a village and killed a bunch of innocent women and children? I mean, we have always done it. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. It's how we refer to our sports teams and our athletes in our games. And I don't know. I really haven't heard it be such a big deal before.
What I would say is I'll answer that question first and then talk about Tom Brady himself. Is we live in such a world right now where everybody's looking to cancel everybody. Everybody's looking to be the first to jump on a social media site and say, oh man, did you hear the analogy used by such and such? Did you hear the metaphor used last night on the Fox commentary? Did you hear the 100%, man. It's like, let's get our pitchforks. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to get the ogre. We're going to get the monster. We're going to get whatever. I just watched Shrek the other night. That's why that ogre reference came up. But you guys got to relax. We've been using terms that rely to the military for a very long time, and inversely, because I have friends that have deployed. I have friends that are a part of branches of military. They always say, it's just like, they use the analogy just as well. They say, man, just for you, it's like being a soldier in the army, blah, blah, blah. They'll use scenarios. They'll use analogies and metaphors that have to do with them being football players. We're relating it the same way. So we got to stop doing that. Tom Brady didn't mean it in that way. Tom Brady wasn't trying to take lightly what the military does when they're deployed and how long they're away from their families and then the people dying next to them, etc. Tom wasn't going that route. We got to calm down. But you know what happens? You know what I noticed about this? See, when you're no longer perfect, when the perfect facade is gone, and the perfect facade for me is Tom Brady, the golden boy, 7 rings. He can leave Patriots. He wins in Tampa. He's married to Giselle. He's got the perfect family. He's on the cover of GQ, the most beautiful man there ever was, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. See, when everything is going well like that for you, nobody's taking shots. Nobody's taking shots at your perfect armor because you're wearing a golden vest. But when you start having cracks in your armor, you lose the year after you win after you win the Super Bowl. You threaten to retire. Then you come back. Then you come back and you suck. Now you're leaving camp to go try to fix your marriage. Now your marriage isn't working. Now you're struggling. Now you're flying to go to Robert Kraft's wedding. Now people see that. Now you're yelling on the sideline at players. See, now they're focusing in on everything that Tom is doing. Because see, now he's doing things off the field that aren't Tom Brady. Now that perfectness that was Tom Brady. See, Tom's not perfect anymore. So everybody's trying to take shots. That's what they do when individuals are no longer perfect or they fall from grace a little bit. Now they're ready to pull their guns out and take shots. And I think that's what this is.
You don't really mean that, though, do you?
Oh, exactly. Don't get me canceled. I'm sorry.
You don't really mean that you're
everybody's pulling their proverbial guns out and shooting their words at Tom Brady.
I do want to say there's 2 aspects about this, Tom Mazawey. Go ahead.
Just a quick sidebar. Yeah. Back in my WJR days, Frank Beckman was calling the Tiger games with Ernie Harwell on the TV.
Yeah.
Frank said the bases they're juiced, they're loaded. I had a guy call up and say he shouldn't say they're loaded. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I mean, I'm talking 1997.
Yeah.
And I got a call out on WJR Sports Line saying he shouldn't say that the bases are loaded. I take umbrage to that. I'm trying to get over being an alcoholic. You don't say loaded.
Well, turn radio station now.
People could do it.
As Tyson would say, turn your station. 2 aspects about it. One, it does highlight and does put a spotlight on the military and the commitment and the service that they go through. So that aspect of it, I'm happy about. It is just it is highlighting to them the sacrifice and the commitment that they have for this country. Good. Number 2, Tom Brady is seeing what we do in this country firsthand. We build you up, build you up, build you up, and the second you give a little bit of an opening, we tear you down, tear you down, tear you down. People cannot wait to start tearing down Tom Brady the same way we did with Tiger Woods. When we built him up, got in the car thing, got in the thing with his wife, tore him down to pieces.
What happened?
Look at Russell Wilson. Look at Russell Wilson's fall from grace, and obviously it's not like he just won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, but look, even when he still was in Seattle, everything was perfect. The second he leaves Seattle, now all his former teammates are coming out taking shots at him on national TV, on Twitter. You got everybody talking about it. People cannot wait, especially if you haven't been an amazing individual, especially if you've been a prick or a douchebag or whatever that term is. They really can't wait for you. But they've been waiting to take shots at a GOAT. He's a GOAT, and they've been waiting to take shots.
Tried to raise up Michael Jordan, raise him up. Oop, got that little gambling thing. Tear you down.
You said Republicans buy sneakers too?
Yeah,
all that
right.
stuff.
You know, I mean, no matter who you are, especially the great ones, we will build you up and we will poop down your throat the minute we get a chance.
That's why that's why you have to get somebody like LeBron James credit. Because they didn't build him up to drop him off. They have been taking shots at him since day
tore him down.
Exactly.
I was there
since day one, and he still is ever since the decision.
I was there. Well, look, I worked in Toledo when LeBron was a senior in high school, and I saw what they did to that poor kid back then, not letting him play in state tournaments and basketball games because they're saying he violated this and violated that, and you just know you're like this is a kid.
That's why you got to give him so much credit.
It's like this is a kid.
Grace.
The number one guy you give credit to is Derek Jeter.
Yeah. And that probably would be the gold standard, right?
Yep.
We'll go around the NFL. We'll do it next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Yes, sir. 27 locations, Ryan, and more on the way. And if you want to get the best tan for homecoming, send your kids to Chili Peppers Tanning. They have the cleanest salons in the D. Not only that, if you join the Pepper Club, they'll beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. They got all the products there for you to bring home and take care of your skin as well. The hottest deals, the hottest bulbs, the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
My name is Lee. I've lost 35 pounds on the Custom Health Center program. So the 3 biggest benefits that I've gotten from this program has been I'm not snoring anymore, I have a lot of energy, it's great, and oh, by the way, look at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Thursday, October 27th. Join Ermanni and myself.
Next Thursday.
Next Thursday, the Michigan State game. Next Thursday, we'll be live in Dearborn with our man Mike Phillips and Keller Williams. We will be doing meet and greets after the show, 4 to 4:30. Come down and hang out, man. It'll be trunk and treat. We'll be getting after it a little bit. Hanging out, supporting the community, man. If you're looking to invest and buy a home, Keller Williams and Mike Phillips is the way to go. 23 years in the game. He is number one. 313-403-0011. Game on.
Game on.
All right, guys, welcome back. WoodwardSports.com. Thanks to Braylon Edwards over there.
There you go.
Working out a knot in my shoulder, man. Oh,
what a friend's
man.
for.
I'm telling you.
He got my neck.
What a friend's for.
Damn. Guys, this Daniel Snyder thing is really heating up.
They want him gone. But would you, if you're him, you're hanging on like grim, you're hanging on for life.
Fighting.
I'm not giving up my team.
Yeah.
No way and no how, as Rob Parker would say.
Here's the letter from the Washington Commanders owner, Dan Snyder. You know, there was that report last week. I'll read it to you. I hope you and your family are doing well. I would like to address a recent ESPN article that contains false and malicious statements about the Washington Commanders, our management team, and me and my family. It is particularly shameful to ESPN to diminish the very real accomplishments of our president, Jason Wright, who ESPN alleges was placed at the Commanders by the league and has no power to make real change. I know you know this to be false. Unfortunately, ESPN ignored our efforts to correct the many falsehoods in their article before its publication. There's one allegation, this is the juicy part, there's one allegation in the ESPN article that I feel is important to address immediately. The article cited unnamed sources who said, quote, they've been told that Snyder instructed his law's firm to hire private investigators to look into other owners and Commissioner Goodell. That is patently false and intended to erode the trust and goodwill between owners, and I take that quite seriously. I've never hired any private investigator to look into any owner or the commissioner. I've never instructed or authorized my lawyers to hire any private investigator on my behalf or any such purpose, and I never would. While we are competitors on the field, it goes on to say, but that's the gist of the article. It's a long, lengthy, too lengthy for this. He's basically begging his owners to keep him in the league.
He basically says at the end, hey, me and Tanya are around anytime you want to talk.
Yeah.
We're always available, which we hear is not true.
I think this is a thing where you putting this out, whether it was you, and when you're listening to things like this, Maz and Ryan, it's about language. It's about the language, very crafty on how he uses certain words, and not at any time that I or nor on my behalf and things of that nature. Maybe they got done, and maybe they got done through a second or third or fourth party. But to hear guys like Jim Irsay come out, who his past hasn't been squeaky clean. He hasn't been a squeaky clean owner by any means, which I love him. At the end of the day, he's genuinely authentic.
He knows.
He makes mistakes, blah, blah, blah. For someone like Jim Irsay to be the first owner to come out and say, you know what, if you're going to go to that dog fight, pull your pistols out because I'm going to put mine out too. So for Jim Irsay to be one of the first guys to talk, I think the NFL is done with him. And I think, once again, it's about the Shield. It's about what they represent. It's the number one sport. Well, it's the number one sport in this country. It's the number one international sport, if you will. It's the gold standard. It's what the NBA is trying to be. It's what the MLB used to be, and they no longer will be again. NHL, good luck with that. But they are the gold standard, and they are drawing too much attention to the Shield in negative light. Whether it's last year with Dan Snyder, whether it's this year with Dan Snyder, whether it's Jack Del Rio and Dan Snyder, whether it's the list goes on. The NFL can't afford to keep taking these kind of hits. Deshaun Watson in Cleveland, it's just so much of that stuff coming out. The NFL, not in this day and age and era, where literally the jump in female fans, the jump in LGBTQIA plus type of individuals that support the sport, that are watching the sport. It's too much of that now for you to allow guys like Snyder to continue to be that guy, to continue to have a franchise. They're not going to go for it anymore.
And really, for the first time, another owner is calling him out, saying, I think we need to take a look at this. And albeit the one owner that's probably one of the biggest sleaze bags himself.
You know what? He's the only owner, really. He's like Mark Cuban, but Mark Cuban is cleaner. But he comes down. He's with the fans. He is at practice. He gives tickets away. What did he give away at practice this year? Didn't he give $1,000 to someone?
Something like that.
$100 bill. He was throwing $100 bills. At least the guy's out there, and they love him in Indy.
Absolutely. Well, here's for the next 2 minutes, you're going to hear from Jim Irsay calling for Dan Snyder.
In going forward, but I think it's something that has to be given serious consideration to.
You ever seen something like this? Have you ever been to a meetings where you've had to consider things like that?
There, in the past, there's been situations like that. Going back to the days with Eddie DeBartolo and different times that are difficult. Back to the USFL days in the 80s. I mean, there's always been, it seems like in the old days there was more difficult times that came up, but I've seen a lot through the 50 years, so you're always prepared for them.
Do you believe enough people agree with you that that's a realistic possibility?
Well, I think, again, when we look at the evidence and go forward, we'll have to determine what the situation is. But I just believe in the workplace today, the standard that the Shield stands for in the NFL, that you have to stand for that and protect that. I just think that once owners talk amongst each other, they'll arrive to the right decision. I just, my belief is that, unfortunately, I believe that that's the road we probably need to go down and we just need to finish the investigation. But it's gravely concerning to me, the things that have occurred there over the last 20 years.
Does that open up a door, though?
What's the most concerning part?
Well, I just think what's happened in the workplace, having 3 daughters, 7 granddaughters, that's just not, again, we have to look at the investigation and see the.
And that video courtesy of Jabari Young, by the way.
There you go. You know what I heard when I heard that? It's just what I said before. Heard phrases like this. Different times now. He said, the workplace today. Basically, what Jim Irsay is saying is, look, mofo, if we got to change, you got to change. There can't be any more racism in this place. There can't be any more segregation in this place. There can't be any more sexism, whatever, misogyny.
Sexism.
Excuse me. Sexism, misogyny. It can't be any more discrimination in the workplace. It can't be any more abuse in the workplace, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. We're not standing for that anymore. You saw, it's almost like, you saw what happened to Sarver. You saw what happened to Donald Sterling. That's the level we're at today, and that's why he said, in the workplace today, these are different times. It means, you know what? We had a damn good run, but all the stuff that we used to do in the NFL has come to an end, and if you don't want to get on board, like we all are getting on board, trust me, there are a lot of things that we're changing that we don't want to. But you know what? We're willing to change because times doing always will change. If he doesn't change, which he doesn't seem like he wants to do, that's why they're now calling him out.
Right on.
How many times did you think that John Gotti was going to go to jail before he actually went to jail?
Oh, man. All the time.
Right. This feels like
He's a Teflon Don.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That is what I'm trying to compare him to.
What did he say? What did I always say about the NFL, laughingly? They're the mafia.
Yeah.
And what did Snyder say in his comments last week to ESPN?
Don't F
if
with
they
me.
take me down,
I'm taking you
I'm
with
taking
me.
you down. The NFL is the mafia. He said that. Those are his words.
And so, the comparison to John Gotti, and again, he's not killing anybody like John Gotti.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
We talk about
Gotti didn't kill anyone.
Yeah, right. Right. Of course not.
He just went like this.
He gave him the wing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So you get what I'm saying. Is there any chance he survives? Is what I'm asking both of you.
I say yes.
I would have to say yes, too. I mean, he's a billionaire with money in America. They always have a chance. They always have a shot. But in order to have that chance, in order for that chance to come into fruition, he's got to be willing to adapt. He's got to be willing to meet those guys halfway. Like, you got to meet them halfway on some things. There's some things that have to change. Maybe there's a policy. Maybe there's something that he puts out. But he's got to meet Roger Goodell and the other 31 NFL owners. Actually 70% of the way. He's going to have to meet those guys. Now, if he wants to stay and be Teflon Don, I think they're all going to take their chances with him, and it's going to get ugly.
Forget about Teflon Don. It's going to be Teflon Dan. I think some way, somehow, he ain't going nowhere.
He can stay, but he's got to meet him, though.
What's that? I ain't effing leaving. I ain't going nowhere.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't effing leaving.
If you want to be Jordan Belfort and Wolf of Wall Street, then the NFL owners, the other 31,
I ain't effing leaving.
Hey, then that means you got to put them
nowhere. I ain't effing leaving.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you like this. He's gonna have to put his cards on the table.
Okay, take it easy there.
He's gonna have to put all his cards on the table and see what he has.
And build a new stadium.
More around the NFL. We'll continue to go around the NFL. Jerry Jones and Bob Kraft got into it. We'll tell you why coming up next. But first, a message from Cintron.
Because they don't want to change either. Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, the Detroit Red Wings. 2-1 right now, the Detroit Red Wings are. Cintron has combined all three of their delicious flavors into a limited edition 6-pack. You want to get that 6-pack, you want to get the 6 flavors or the 6 in the can, 3 flavors, cranberry, sugar-free, and classic. CintronWorld.com/Red Wings is the way to go. Drink it, live it with Cintron.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health
organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for the Woodward Front Row promo. Again, win front row tickets to see Detroit and Green Bay live at Ford Field. To enter, just got a simple record a video of your best Dan Campbell impersonation. We've already got a lot of great entries already. You can do whatever you want. Someone can tape it for you. I had someone actually do a Dan Campbell at a press conference and then do up-downs on the field just like he did in Hard Knocks. So it's a lot to do, a lot of fun. Just post it on Instagram, on Twitter, and use the hashtag Woodward Front Row. Make sure you're following Woodward Sports. That's number one. We're going to select 3 winners, and you're going to get 2 tickets apiece to go see Green Bay and Detroit at Ford Field. Winners will be announced on November 4th, so enter now.
All right, Tom Mazawey, let's do it. Here we go. We are going to go around the league, some news and notes, including more ownership talk here.
Yes, sir. Let's start with that right now. Jerry Jones, these are the owners' meetings now. Mid-season owners meetings. I'm not sure, where are they? I'm not sure where they are. They're usually in a nice tropical.
They're in New York.
They're in a tropical paradise.
They're in
usually,
New York.
but they're in New York this time.
Park Ave.
So Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft get into a shouting match over Roger Goodell's contract. They want to renegotiate Roger Goodell's contract. Turns out 31 of the 32 owners say, okay, let's do it. One owner said, no way. And then Jerry Jones stood up and said, Ryan, I'll let you say it.
Yeah, well, he said to Bob Kraft, don't F with me.
Is that the going thing for owners now in the NFL? Don't F with me?
He was the lone dissenting vote, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. He feels like a caricature of himself, doesn't he?
I mean,
Jerry
how much
Jones
more,
right
how
now?
much more money does he want for his people, for him?
Well, it's not about the money. It's about winning the game. And not on the field. I'm talking about off the field.
Now, Jerry Jones is the one that is in disagreement.
Yes.
He's number one.
We don't want to pay Goodell salary.
Right.
He wants to pay him based on his performance. The guy just signed like a $150 billion deal for you.
I think anybody could do that.
But he did it, Ryan.
I know.
That's his job.
You do realize, we talked about this before, is when certain individuals, well, actually, when people get to certain ages, they get older, they just don't care anymore. Now, times that by a guy in Texas, oil guy, Jerry, who's done things his way forever. Now he's getting to that age. He just turned 80 last Thursday, I believe. Like, he's now at that age. The Cowboys haven't won in a very long time. He's getting up there in age. He's getting 80. Now he's on the radio every day saying something that is very, very conflicting to what's going on with the Cowboys, whether it's I want a quarterback controversy, whether Dak is going to play. No doctor has cleared Dak to play at first. It was Jerry Jones. It was Dr. Jerry Jones. Now he's jumping over Robert Kraft and saying, I don't want to pay him. Jerry Jones is at that age where he's just saying a lot of stuff right now. Like, he's in the news every day, whether it's arguing with Stephen A. Smith. He just seems like he's got to do something opposite of what everybody else is doing.
He's in the I don't give a bleep stage, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
80 years old.
He don't
80
give
years
a
old,
bleep.
billionaire.
He's going to say
Texas
what he's
billionaire.
going to say. You know, is
America's franchise.
Is Roger Goodell worth $50 million to you? Probably not.
Well, how about the players? Are they worth what they're getting?
Yeah.
Well,
Because
I'm
they're
just
actually
players,
getting it done
though.
on the field.
Well, I'm just saying, we're talking about money that we're never going to ever see in our lifetime.
Right.
So I'm not talking about the money. Whatever they want to pay their commissioner, let them pay.
Could they get a commissioner for $35 million to do what Roger
They can
Goodell's
pay
doing
me
for $50,000?
$50,000, I'll do it. Okay? $50 grand. I'll go to the NFL and run the damn league.
Tell Jerry Jones.
I get all the clothes though. I get any clothes I want.
$50 million to take the hit. Basically, they're paying $50 million to take the hit. Because whenever something happens in the NFL, whether it's a disciplinary clause, whether it's always Goodell taking it, whether it's Deshaun Watson or who didn't make the right decision on that, they pay him $50 million. Look, you are our bulletproof shield. You take all those hits, so we don't have to put our real answers and truths out there for you. You just take the hit.
Can you imagine Bob Kraft? He's like, Bob Kraft is just trying to get hand jobs and stuff like that. He got Jerry Jones like telling him to F off. Bob Kraft probably in New York, just like, he's like.
Kraft said, "Excuse me, what'd you say?"
Yeah, he's like,
and he's like, don't mess with me.
What's this guy?
Yeah,
What's this guy
who's
saying?
this freaking guy?
Who's this guy?
We win Super Bowls. You don't, man.
But then Jerry probably said something slick. He said, "You ain't won nothing since time left." You know how those pissing contests go.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
32 billionaires? Well, 31 because Snyder wasn't there. 31 half billionaires.
Hey guys, you're gonna usually on Black Friday. What do you guys usually do on Black Fridays?
Watch the Iowa-Nebraska game.
You watch Iowa-Nebraska? Do you go shopping? Do you go out shopping anymore?
Never in my
or is that passé?
Never in my life.
Anyway, you get to stay home now because there's going to be a Black Friday NFL game. It's official. Amazon Prime starting next year. I think it's a 3 o'clock kick if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
They will have the NFL Black Friday game of the year. And it ain't going away from what I understand.
This sounds fun. Because you're going to be off anyway. I haven't shopped the Black Friday since Great Lakes Crossing opened up in 1999. It opened up and went out there. Everybody's online shopping anyway. Guys aren't trying. You're not trying to do that anymore. This could be interesting. You're gonna eat. You're gonna eat big the night before. You're gonna sit at home and make that turkey sandwich with the mayonnaise, with the Miracle Whip, and the turkey from the night before. Heat it up just about 15 seconds.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Like that's it, man. A little bit of the potato salad left over. Now I get to kick my feet up, and now I get to turn on 3 o'clock game. I'm telling you like this, that sounds like a hell of an idea.
I love it.
Dang,
it's a great idea.
I absolutely love it. The day after Thanksgiving, NFL football, and at 3 o'clock, so you get to even, if you go out to dinner after that if you'd like, or just stuff yourself.
Then you get the Ohio State Michigan game the very next day.
Oh.
That's a
you know what time it is.
That's a hell of a 3-pack day, man. That Thursday, that Friday, that Saturday, and then obviously regular football on Sunday.
Hey, guess who's back? 36-year-old Deshaun Jackson signs officially. Well, he's going to sign with the Baltimore Ravens for his 15th NFL season. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, Bray, but now it's come to fruition.
Yeah, 100% we've talked about it. He has over 30, 50-yard or more touchdowns. And every season he's played, and he's had a touchdown that was 40 or more yards, including last year at 34. He had a 75-yarder for the Los Angeles Rams. So you're talking about a guy that has not lost a step. You're talking about a guy that has a Super Bowl ring. And you're talking about not only can he help you, he can bring some veteran leadership at that wide receiver position, which is much needed for Lamar Jackson and Duvernay and Rashad Bateman, if you will.
The Yankees did it. The Yankees did it. Can they continue to do it? We'll talk about that next. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They are your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. Right now is the perfect time to make sure you have the peace of mind and home security from Guardian Alarm, the most trusted name in home and business security. With 24/7 monitoring, you can have the peace of mind of knowing that you are being backed by the best. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of your house? It tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Call them today, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them
Woodward Sports is giving you another chance to sit front row. This time at the Detroit versus Green Bay game. Think you have the best Dan Campbell impression?
Woodward Sports, let's go.
Can you say man with the best of them?
I got it. Here's what I need, man. I need you to trust me. I swear to God, I'm not a lunatic. I swear to you.
Can you say, let's go for it on 4th down?
Man, I got a plan, I swear to you. All I think about is you guys. That's all I think about, man.
Are you a master motivator?
That's all I think about is you guys.
Show us in a video. Record your best Dan Campbell impression and post the video on Twitter or Instagram using hashtag Woodward Front Row. We'll select the best 3 impersonations of Motor City Dan Campbell and send you and a guest front row. So knock the dust off the old sweatpants, light some kneecaps, and enter today. And as always, go Lions, man.
I just need you to trust me. That's all. Please.
I don't care if I got one toe, 2 butt cheeks, and a rock.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Man, I'm starving. I got Big Boy here now for a limited time
Big
only.
Jim.
All new burgers and loaded fries are at Big Boy. It's not the Slim Jim anymore, guys. It's the Big Jim and the all new burgers, the Burger Blue, and of course the Bacon Blue and the Chili Cheeseburger. That's new as well. Upgrade those fries. Make them chili cheese fries, nacho fries, baked potato fries. Satisfy those taste buds.
Nacho
Big
business.
Boy.
It's like a rule of thumb when you go to the bathroom and you see somebody in the stall and they get taking off their jacket and their shirt and they get comfortable. You like, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and hold it. I'm gonna ahead and hold it.
Dude, I gotta tell you,
I'll just wait till about 30 minutes later. I have used that bad.
I had to go to the bathroom yesterday. I'm not gonna say where I was.
Yeah.
I had to go to the bathroom, just run in real quick.
I just knew it was gonna be a
man.
problem in that bathroom.
And you walk in the door, and it's like, holy crap! Now I'm Italian and Lebanese. I've been in bathrooms with the best of them, and somebody died in that bathroom yesterday. I mean, somebody was dead, and I walked in.
You need a power fan.
I mean, I walked in and I was out with the quickness.
New nose.
I'd have peed my pants. I didn't care. I wasn't staying in that bathroom.
Yeah,
I did not care. It was fine. I was fine.
I'm like that too, man.
I was wearing dark pants. You couldn't tell.
Doesn't it suck that you walking out of there, the next person that walks in thinks you did
Thinks
it?
it's you.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta walk out instantly with disclaimers.
I'll just be honest. I was like, I got nothing to do with that.
You got to run out of there saying, "Whoa, I'm not going. I'm not going in
I
there."
got nothing to do with that. I got nothing to do with that.
Because it's like the guy that actually is doing it, or the girl is actually doing it, whether you go whatever, wherever.
Girls don't do that.
Bullshit. They're worse than men. They're worse than men. Don't you let them lie to you.
They are pretty bad.
That's why they don't go around us. That's why they like literally. How it take your wife 10 years to go to the bathroom around you? Like she's high. She's going to the library. She's going to Starbucks.
Gonna run out real quick.
Exactly. They're sneaking around because they know that they're worse.
Oh, God. Maz, you didn't think they were going to win yesterday, but they did. Yankees beat the Cleveland Guardians in 5 games. Really? Did you see some of the scenes out in the Bronx last night?
Yes.
They're starving.
I was nuts.
They're
I
starving.
couldn't believe it. I was actually shocked that an ALDS win.
Yeah.
When you have a payroll of probably $100+ million more than Cleveland,
But
more than that,
would draw that reaction.
But you know why, Maz? You can speak more. You're the New York guy, but this is just for me. Because last time the Yankees won was 2009. I was there because I had just gotten traded. I got traded to the Jets at the perfect time period. But I get traded, and then obviously I think they beat the Phillies.
They did.
I think they beat the Phillies. That Ryan Howard.
We want a rematch.
Exactly, because they beat them the year before. Exactly. But if you look at this team, they haven't won since 13. They haven't been since 13, which they won since 2009. So 13 years, 14 seasons, if you will. This is the Yankees, the #1 franchise in American sports history. It's the #1 franchise, period. They haven't been in 14 years, although they've had all these players, spent all this money. And now you look at this season. You look at this team, the way it's constructed, and the fans are looking at it like this. You just broke Roger Maris's 61-year-old record with Aaron Judge, who's trying to get paid. You got Giancarlo Stanton, who won the MVP at the All-Star game. He's hitting home runs again. Garrett Cole breaks the strikeout record for the Yankees all time.
Record, yep.
All time breaks that record. You got this team constructed of 100 millionaires, players that can play, players that should be a team to get you there. They're antsy because they have everything it takes. They have everything it takes except for what Maz believes to be the manager and Aaron Boone. They're starving to get back to that championship because you know what? The Knicks aren't going to give it to them. The Nets aren't going to give it to them. The Mets aren't going to give it to them. So far, track record has shown the Jets and the Giants aren't going to give it to them, although the Giants probably were the last one to do it. The Rangers got close. They're getting close. The Islanders aren't. No. So you're looking at it like, if it ain't the Yankees this year, then who the hell is it going to be?
It's going to be hard for them to close out Houston. Houston's beaten them 3 straight playoffs. I'll tell you, Altuve has not had a good ALDS.
0-16.
Yeah, but you know what? He loves playing against the Yankees. But I don't know, man. The last time they played, he hit that home run over Aroldis Chapman. You know, the one that everyone he knew was coming. Remember, he ran off the bases. Don't rip my jersey off. Remember that one?
Oh, that's right.
That was the last time they played him in the playoff.
So the Yankees looking for a little revenge.
I think he takes one in the ear hole today, to be perfectly frank. It's going to be hard to beat the Astros. We'll see how it goes. Cleveland was game. I love Gleyber Torres at the end of the game, rocking the baby.
Did you like that? I didn't like that.
I loved
he only did it because the dude from
it was because Josh Naylor did
it. Josh Naylor the game before did it to him. It was payback.
To them around the bases. He was rocking the baby. Nonetheless,
turnabout is fair play.
Last night's Phillies-Padres game was great. 2-0, 2 solo homers.
4:30 today on Fox.
Kyle Schwarber hit one
488.
Unbelievable
First home run I've ever
and
seen.
your guy Bryce Harper started it with the solo home run. So 2 solo homers. The Padres threatened in the 9th. This is going to be a tough series for Padres to win. Phillies are really rocking
How would you feel if you're a Cubs fan, by the way? You got Rizzo with the Yankees in the playoffs. You got Schwarber in the playoffs.
With the Phils.
You got
Darvish.
Darvish is out there.
Darvish.
You know, I know Chris Bryant. The Giants didn't have the year they wanted to, but Chris Bryant out there with the Giants. Javi Baez here with the Tigers, who had a crappy year. But all that talent, man. I mean,
they won their World Series.
They won the World Series, and it almost feels like a little bit like the not really, but kind of like the Marlins a little bit.
No, they did that.
Yeah, they did.
They did that.
Yeah, that Game 7 was amazing, man. With them and the now Guardian home run. That was amazing in 2016.
That was awesome.
2016, but yeah, man, you look at Kyle Schwarber hit that a mile, man. Like that ball still hasn't come down. Bryce Harper, one of the best players in baseball. I mean, arguably the best player in baseball a couple years ago. You look at what he's doing now. It's crazy when a player of that caliber can play this well at this time. Like, it's almost where you look at the other guys on your team, like, if this guy can do this and this guy can step up and be that guy, it's time for us to fall in line and help out. And then Manny Machado, Josh Bell, Soto, you got to step up.
You know, but again, why are these teams here? Right? I mean, these teams are here because they're best players. I say it all the time. Your best players have to be your best players when it comes down to it. In Houston, Yordan Alvarez comes up twice with the go-ahead and game-winning homer. Giancarlo Stanton came up with the huge homer yesterday. Aaron Judge hit a homer for the Yankees.
If he could heat up, man, they got a shot.
You look at Bryce Harper for the Phillies having a great playoff. And who's the
Reese Hopkins?
No, not Bryce Harper. Juan Soto against the Dodgers. I mean, that's
game-winning
Manny Machado and Juan Soto against the Dodgers.
You know what else you always talk about? You also got to have a little bit of luck. Because if you look at the second inning yesterday, bases loaded, Ramirez was this close to a grand slam. Am I right, man?
No doubt.
You got to have a little luck. He was this close off the foul post from being a home run. You got to have a little luck if you wanted to win it all as well.
Yankees only hit home runs, so if they don't hit more than home runs, they don't have a chance against Houston.
What if they win the World Series, Maz? Is this going to be a Yankee team?
Yeah, it'll be a great Yankee team.
Bray, get us out of here, bud.
Yo, hell of a week. Hump day. We got over the hump. Check out the Pistons today, man. You heard Sean Murphy, Woodward Pistons. Heard Kool-Aid, Jeff Ifredi talking. They like this Pistons team, and rightfully so. They got a lot of young studs, so want to see how they play against the number 1 pick in the draft, Paolo Banchero, playing against the number 1 pick in the draft last year, Detroit's Cade Cunningham. So that game should be exciting. Check out some baseball if you can, but check out woodwardsports.com because we're selling merch, we're doing shows, we're doing a little bit of everything. Stay tuned because we got more in store. For my man JB, Fletch, Uncle Maz on the couch, brother from another mother, Ryan Ermanni to the left. You know what time it is. It's time for Edwards, Ermanni, and Maz to say goodbye.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.